YouTube, what is up? James MTG Biggie here, and I'm back with a video just sort of discussing Magic in general, the community, what I've been doing with Magic lately, how the game in general is doing, and sort of my plans going forward, all that sort of stuff. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the game in general. Right now, I think Magic is in a great spot, despite what certain people on the internet will tell you. I know there's a small handful of people who are crying out about how the game is dying and how profit revenues are down and how the game isn't what it once was, and their political agenda of Wizards of the Coast has ruined the game and all that nonsense just isn't true. The Q2, I believe it was, profit margins are up. Wizards of the Coast is doing great. Magic specifically and Dungeons and Dragons are both doing very well. So those who are yelling out the sky is falling just have this personal beef with the Wizards of the Coast, and they are trying their damnedest to sully the good name of Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast for no reason other than the fact that they're not welcome anymore. It is what it is. Outside of that, the drama level in the community overall at large has been down. There's not really anything to complain about or be dramatic about or worry about. Right now, since the banning of Deathrite and Legacy's been great. The format's been better than I ever remember it. Modern has been in a very good spot. It's the whole rock, paper, scissors between 3 or 4 decks at the top, and then about 10 to 15 decks just below it that at any given moment can jump up and be the best deck for a tournament. Standard even has been going pretty well. People were worried about Goblin Chainwhirler being too powerful and the mono red decks being just too good in the format, but I think M19 came along and kind of fixed that a little bit. It warped things a little bit away from the mono red deck. Now there's a really good mono green deck coming forward. There's green white decks around. There's black white aggro decks around. Mono red's absolutely still great, and the red black versions of it as well. There's also like blue black and Grixis control decks. A lot of decks are viable in standard right now, and it's in a really good spot. It may be the best thing that you can do is Chainwhirler people. That may still be true, but not by a huge margin, and I think that's just fine. Beyond that, I've personally been playing more standard because I'm preparing for Grand Prix Orlando here in Florida coming up on like 2 weeks from now, actually. That said, it's been a lot of fun getting back into standard. I was working on playing one deck that I was pretty hard committed to, but upon testing, I kind of started to realize that the deck's very powerful and it's a good deck, but the mana is absolutely atrocious and makes it not something I want to play at a Grand Prix. So I might be pivoting. I have another list that I've been working on that's kind of a hybrid between 2 existing decks that I think could be pretty decent. So I'm going to be testing that going forward and trying it out. And I may still land on the deck with the bad mana because it's powerful enough, but I'm not entirely sure it's where I want to be. Beyond that, I've been playing a lot of Modern, a bit of Legacy when I can, and it's all been great. It's been really fun trying to play multiple formats and going back and forth between testing for different events of different formats, and it's been a good time. With the Grand Prix coming up, it's all been standard lately, and I am trying to get my stuff together so I at least have a decent wrap on the format in my head, and I know what I'm playing against most times and all that. And I'll be traveling over to Orlando from here, which is about an hour and a half away, with my buddy Sean, who's also playing in the main event of the Grand Prix and has been playing standard a lot lately, and my friend Adam, who is a bit newer to the game than the rest of us, So he's not playing the main event. He plays pretty much predominantly modern. So he's coming along to play side events and jam as much modern as possible during the weekend. He just built the Elves deck in modern, and he had Burn built. So he's taking the opportunity to spend a weekend hanging out, playing Magic, learning, playing more, and having a good time. That's what it's all about. And that's why the game's in a great spot, because it's not about the political views of anybody. It's not about somebody trying to damn the community and kind of sully the good name of Wizards of the Coast and of Magic. It's about going out there and playing a game that you enjoy with your friends and having as much fun as possible doing it. Beyond that, Wizards of the Coast just announced a couple weeks back that they're now allowing alcohol to be consumed in tournament settings at local stores and whatnot, which is kind of not a big deal, but a big deal for some, in that like the game is shifting upward in its average age of players, especially older formats and stuff like that. When I started playing the game, I was like 13, 14 years old, just getting into high school, and a bunch of people I started playing the game with stuck around or came back to the game later on, and we're all grown-ups now. So it's nice to have a game that decided to grow with its player base, and it's now acknowledging that for a lot of us, you know, we're just a bunch of dudes in our late 20s and 30s and even into 40s, 50s, and 60s that are getting together and playing a game, and it's a social sort of thing, and sometimes people enjoy having a beer with their, you know, their modern tournament or with their legacy event or whatever the case may be. On top of that, they also announced that they're now allowing tournament organizers to split events by age group, so you can have a 21 and older strict tournament in addition to having maybe a 18 and younger, 16 and younger tournament, and you can allow for those 21 and up events to serve alcohol or to have alcohol on the premise. So it's nice. It just allows more options for tournament organizers, which I think the more options they have, the better it is for everybody. Outside of that, the community's been great. The amount of drama has been down quite a bit from 6 months ago or so, and I think a big part of that is the people that were trying to bring up the drama, who are still trying to bring it up, have just alienated themselves so far out there that nobody really is putting a lot of attention into it. And there's been a lot more positivity lately than negativity in the game and in the community, and that's a really good thing. Outside of all that nonsense, it's been good times. I've enjoyed playing different formats. I've enjoyed getting together with my friends and playing the game. I've enjoyed the amount of fun that can be had playing a silly card game. For many people, that's all this is just a silly card game that we play in our downtime or whatever. Some people take it a lot more serious. I'm kind of right in the middle. I take it serious enough where I want to do well, and I try to put time into it to improve and get better, but not so much that I forget about having fun, which is important to me more than anything else. Outside of that, like, it's just been a blast. I know I keep saying outside of that. I've just realized it like 5 or 6 times now. But the game's in a good spot. The community is great. I look forward to watching the Pro Tour that's coming up next weekend, and it's all good. Tagging back to a couple other topics, Legacy Death and Taxes has been great. Brightling is the truth. If you're not playing Brightling in your Death and Taxes shells in Legacy, you need to be. I've been playing 2 of consistently, and every time I draw the card, it has been absolute gas and has been unbeatable for some decks. I have resolved it with Vials on 3 against like Grixis control, against Miracles, against Mono Red Prison, and they just can't beat the card. It's very difficult to deal with once it's on the battlefield. So that's been really cool. In Modern, I've been going back and forth between decks. I was off of Death and Taxes for a bit and on to Jeskai, then I moved back to Death and Taxes and had a very successful run with it. And then I had a not so successful run with it later on. So now I'm up in the air as far as what I'm playing in that format. And Standard, I'm not going to say what it is I'm playing yet, although the description of very powerful but terrible mana, some of you may be able to figure it out and piece 2 and 2 together and figure out what I was testing. But I've got another build that I feel pretty decent about that is my own concoction, I guess, but not really. It's just 2 different shells that I kind of merged together, leaving out some of the worst parts of each of them and trying something new. So that's about all I have here. I'd like to know how you guys are doing with Magic, what you're currently playing, what you're looking forward to, and by all means, if you are going to Grand Prix Orlando and you watch this channel, definitely try to catch up with me at some point during the weekend and say what's up. I'll be around. If you haven't seen me in person, I am 6'2", so I'm easy to spot in a crowd. I'm a giant ginger dude with a beard, so come by, say what's up. I'll gladly, say hi, shake your hand, and it'll be a good time. I look forward to seeing any and all of you there who will be there, and I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. So, as always, I'll link a couple videos down below. I'll have a subscribe button up here. If you haven't yet, hit that for me, please. That'll just give you the opportunity to see my videos when they go up, and click the bell down below to be notified first whenever I put up a new video. Outside of that, I can be found on Twitter at MTGBiggie, and that's about it. I will talk to you guys again very soon.